Following our continuous coverage here for you on 11 Alive Plus of this significant weather event that is headed our way, ice is the word everybody's talking about, and it's the kind of worst case scenario when we're talking about statewide impact.
That's right. Here in Metro Atlanta, we are expecting issues. In North Georgia, we are expecting issues. And all week, our 11 Alive Weather Impact team has been telling you, oh, you know what, things might change, things might change. Well, now it's Friday. Those predictions, those are aligned, and so we do have a pretty good idea of what could come down. Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb, his whole team tracking it all for us. Chris, can you give us, right now it's 2 o'clock, what are things looking like right now?
You know, it has been a process this week as we've been kind of refining this forecast and getting down to now the day before the event is going to happen. And as you said, things are starting to come together a little bit more, and the confidence is growing in an ice storm that'll be happening here over parts of North Georgia, even including the Metro Atlanta. But this is going to be a big story around numerous states in the country here. These advisories and warnings and watches go all the way back to New Mexico through Texas, Oklahoma. They're getting the action first, and then moving through the southeast, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. And then again, these winter storm warnings extend on up into the New England area. For us, this is the ice storm warning that does now include the Metro Atlanta area. All of North Georgia, Northwest Georgia, here in Atlanta, along the I-20 corridor, even counties on the south side like South Fulton County, Clayton County, also parts of Henry County or all of Henry County. And then below that, the blue that you see is a winter storm watch. We don't think the impacts there are going to be as significant. We think the worst of this is going to be north and east of Atlanta with major impacts there. We're talking about widespread power outages, thick ice around a ½ inch to maybe even up to an inch of ice. And that is going to cause some major travel problems too. Just don't get out and try to drive in this. And I wouldn't try to drive Saturday night and through the day on Sunday either here in the metro area. Moderate impacts here. We're talking about a ¼ inch, maybe some areas around a ½ inch. That is still some significant icing that will cause some power outages and the dangerous travel. Glazing to up to a ¼ inch here on the south side. Still some travel issues there too. So here is a look at the impacts of those ice accumulations. A ¼ inch or less. Avoid unnecessary travel. You'll have some icing on trees and scattered power outages with that. But when you get up to a ¼ inch to a ½ inch, which is what we're expecting in the Metro Atlanta area, we're going to see icy roads, broken tree limbs, and numerous power outages here. And then northeast Georgia is where we're talking about a ½ inch of ice or more, maybe even 3/4 or up to an inch of ice accumulations in spots in North Georgia. That just really weighs down those trees and tree limbs and power lines. The roads are going to be dangerous. You don't want to get out and travel on those. We'll have widespread tree damage. Not only are we going to have power outages there, but we're talking long-term power outages possible in parts of northeast Georgia as that moves in. And just look at this. The difference is that, you know, I know it doesn't sound like a lot to go from a ¼ inch to a ½ inch of ice, but a ½ inch of ice on power lines could add 500 pounds to those lines. And you think a power line doesn't weigh that much, right? But that would be very significant with those power lines breaking and, of course, trees falling on that too. So the ice potential shows that increasing thickness of the ice going up the I-85 corridor, the 985 corridor. Both the GFS model and the European model are showing those highest ice amounts there to the north and east of us, but then they're both agreeing on not as much happening down to the south of the city and also southwest and on the south side, and even not as much in northwest Georgia. This is all lining up with the wedge, which is a shallow layer of cold air at the surface that comes in from the north and east. And so that cold, shallow layer of air is going to be in place, and moisture is going to be riding up and over that. So it's going to be in the form of rain. It's going to be warmer up above. But then when the rain drops, fall to the surface where temperatures are going to be at or below freezing, then that's where we're going to see that glazing and the icy conditions that are going to be developing here, beginning later on Saturday and persisting through much of the day on Sunday. So this is a Saturday-Sunday event, even lingering into Monday. We may extend this alert into Monday, even though the precipitation is going to be ending on Sunday. The impacts are going to persist into the first part of next week as we have the cold air around, and those power outages will last for a while. So definitely plan for those travel impacts and the power impacts too. So here are some things you can do to prepare. As far as thinking about travel, it's going to be difficult to impossible. Again, later Saturday night and into Sunday there. Prepare for power outages. The greatest threat is going to be in northeast Georgia, but here in Metro Atlanta, We're going to have a pretty good number of power outages here as well. Also prepare for closures. We have a lot of churches that I've seen on social media that have already said, hey guys, we don't want to put you at risk for coming to church, trying to navigate even getting there, or parking lots and sidewalks. So many churches are going to be closed on Sunday, and I expect many things are going to be closed on Monday too, because temperatures are going to be below freezing. So even though, again, the precip ends on Sunday, whatever is left there on the ground that is frozen is going to stay frozen and is going to stay slick here for a while. Satellite and radar right now, we got plenty of clouds. We're not seeing much rain here today, but we will see more of that moisture moving in as we head into the weekend. So Cheryl and Faith, you know, Chase Howell interviewed the Ace Hardware owner.
Yeah.
The one thing he mentioned, you know, he's talking about propane heaters, things they had sold out of, but he said they have sold out of sleds. And I don't want to be the bad guy here. Sledding on snow is fun, but sledding on ice, of course, that could be fun too, but that is going to be dangerous. If you fall off of the sled on snow, it's a little bit softer.
Yes.
But if you slip and fall on ice, that is going to be a hard surface. And what I want people to remember, even though your kids are going to go out and slip and slide around, imagine if they fell and needed stitches in their head. You may not be able to get to the hospital, or if you have a broken arm or a broken ankle or anything. I want people to really be careful, and as enticing as it might be to go sledding on that slippery ice, just know the chances of getting hurt on that ice are going to be higher, and you may not be able to get to a hospital to get treatment. So make sure your kids and you are staying safe. And even, I told my wife, I don't know when I'm going to be home again. I told my wife, just stepping out onto the steps on our back porch that is covered, even though it's not going to be raining on that back porch, moisture might still be there, and she may not see it, but there may be a glaze on that, even though it's covered. And you can just slip and fall just stepping out the door. So really, really be careful and do whatever you can to protect yourself not to get injured, because a simple trip that we think of right now of going to the hospital will not be simple on Sunday and into Monday.
It's a really good point.
Yeah.
Really good point. I had the same conversation. You both know, you've heard me talk about it. My youngest loves snow, wants to see snow, was like, Mom, can you order some, inner tubes on Amazon? I keep telling him this is not a snow situation. This is an ice situation. Yeah. And it's really important what you're saying about the dangers of like playing on ice. That's a dangerous scenario.
Yeah.
And to think about, all of our essential personnel, we're talking nurses, doctors, all of those are in that same situation. Hard for them to get around, hard for an ambulance to get around, hard for you to get to urgent care. Really important things to think through as we are making plans beyond buying a flashlight.
That's right. And to the porch and the steps, if you have time to go out today, if you don't have it already, get some salt. The salt that can melt that ice and sprinkle it down on the steps around the garage. Something that we're not used to doing, of course, but it could just help. Anything can help to melt down that ice a little bit.
That's right.